Hi and welcome to Module 6 in this self-help program for depression. In this module we will expand upon the topic of antidepressive activities. To find and sustain these activities, it's a good idea to take a closer look at your values. Values in this context are about who you want to be, what kind of person, friend, partner, son, mother, caretaker or citizen you aspire towards. Depression can lead you astray from your values, and a daily life that's characterized by a large gap between your values and your behavior can prolong and sustain the depression. Let's take a closer look at some key features of the concept. Number 1. Values are related to your behavior, that is what you do. There are a lot of different things one may want from life. For example, a sense of belonging, recognition, a healthy body and a good salary. But none of these are behaviors. You can't do belonging, for instance. These are all examples of goals that one can seek and not of values per se. If you want to get to the underlying values, then you need to ask yourself, what do I have to do in order to reach this goal? Which behaviors do I need to display? One may, for example, get a sense of belonging by behaving honestly, seeking out family and friends, sharing with others, and prioritizing community activities. One may reach the goal of being recognized by being dedicated, goal-oriented, and ambitious. The underlying value behind a healthy body can be to keep in shape, be active throughout the day, and focus on a healthy diet. And lastly, one may reach the goal of a good salary by being engaged, ambitious, and determined at work. Number 2. Values encompasses the quality of the behavior. Let's say that you have a value regarding sports. More specifically, you love to play soccer. Playing soccer is a behavior, so that in a sense can count as a value. But still we are not at the core of this value. If you want to really find the underlying value, we need to look at how you're playing football. That is the quality of the behavior. Let's say that you always arrive late to practice, in a foul mood, where you cheat and play dirty. If this is the case, then your soccer playing might go directly against your values. To be precise, we need to introduce a quality dimension. Maybe playing with engagement, wholeheartedly, using fair play, a supportive attitudes towards teammates, etc. This is also a helpful cue to use if there's an activity that you used to do, but that you can't for some reason. If that's the case, then you can use the underlying value to find a new activity that suits you. Let's say that you used to like to knit, but because of an arm injury, you had to stop the knitting. And let's also say that the underlying values here was to create something, to be competent, to seek a challenge, and to be generous towards others. If that were the case, then we can imagine other activities that might stimulate the same values, like learning how to paint, attending a course to learn a new language, or make dinner for the family. Number 3. Values encompasses how you wish you behaved. In our soccer example, we see a range of positive values, but what about your behavior in real life? In real life, we don't always play fair or 100% dedicated. What does that tell us about our values? Well, not much really, because our values are reflected of how we wish we behaved, although that is no guarantee that we actually do the things we value. If you engage in foul play and feel remorse afterwards, then that indicates that the values of fair play is present, although the behavior is far off. Number 4. Value-oriented behaviors coincide with happiness and well-being. Think about a time in your life where you were happy. Where were you? What were you doing? With whom? We invite you to pause the video for a minute to reflect on this. The moments you are now thinking of can give you an important insight into your values, because happiness and well-being coincide with value-oriented behavior. That's a really technical way of saying that we feel good when we live the life we want to live. But here we must add some nuance, because some of the things we do can feel good but remove us from our values and make us feel worse over time. An example is if a recovering alcoholic takes up drinking again. Even though it might feel good then and there, the alcoholism can have an enormously negative impact in the long term. The same thing could be said about a student with a lot of assignments before an exam. Dropping these assignments might feel good then and there, but if this negatively impacts the study progression, then this short-term joy might come with long-term negative consequences. There are no guarantees that life will be easy, even though you live your life completely value-oriented. For example, you might find yourself exhausted by reading assignments or other works that needs to be done. You might dread walking the dog in the pouring rain. You get the idea. What we want to emphasize is that your values are the best compass for guiding you through tough times when conditions are challenging. The same general idea applies to those whose life is restricted because of unfortunate circumstances. For example, disease, accidents, economic hardships, or depression. These are major challenges that might decrease well-being, but one can still raise the question, in what way do I wish to face these challenges? What are my value-oriented behaviors in the face of these challenges? Said differently, we can say that we can always act in accordance with our values, even though life can be very demanding and we might not reach our goals and ambitions. In our mobile application, we have made values an integral part of behavioral activation. We have provided you with 4 broad overarching domains of values: relationships, leisure activities, work/education, personal growth/health. You can imagine that each of these general domains contains different values, where each value relates to a specific activity. Here are some examples. Domain, relationships. Values, truthfulness, honesty, supportive, kind, helpful, respectful. Activities, ask how the day has been. Help with dinner. Be available. Call Roger on the phone once a while. Arrange for a surprise. Leisure, creative, energetic, active, willing to take risks, relaxed, engaged. Practice piano for 10 minutes a day. Jog a short trip with the dog. Invite the boys to watch the game. Play a game with the family. Work/education. Engaged, dedicated, effective, pragmatic, cooperative, open to new experiences, responsible. Structure my work. Give priority to difficult tasks. Seek agreement and avoid conflict. Be assertive when called for. Arrive on time. Personal growth/health. Responsible, spontaneous, exploring. Keep a not knowing stance. Dedicated, goal-oriented, relaxed, free of prejudices. Drink responsibly. Follow up on the advice from my physiotherapist. Watch a movie in an unknown genre. Go for a run. Read a book. Please keep in mind that these are only a set of examples, and your values may differ greatly. And thusly, suitable activities might also differ. Many who go through this process have a hard time arriving at suitable values, although they have a clear hunch or gut reaction when it comes to the sort of activities that are value-oriented for them. If this is the case, then there is no problem in just writing down value-oriented activities and leaving the values empty. If you've been following this self-help series, then you know that we place activities as the key to getting out of depression. That activities have a sort of antidepressant quality that we can harness in this process. But for a subtype of depressed individuals, this might sound very strange. These are the individuals who are busy almost all the time with chores, appointments and other demands. For example, the dedicated father who's always busy with the needs of the family, completely neglecting his own needs and desires. We can say that this man might be living very value-oriented when it comes to relationships or the family domain, but that he's gradually over time been removing himself from values in other life domains. He used to be creative and social in his free time, or competitive at work, or dedicated to fair play when playing soccer with his friends. This is a case where there aren't enough hours in the day and one is forced to make some difficult priorities, where things don't always go as planned. A metaphor for this situation is like a sailboat on the ocean. Sometimes there's nice weather for days on end, with a gentle breeze in the sails, while other times it's storming around you, where the goal is just to get to the end of it. In this metaphor, values are the compass that can guide you through the challenging times. That means that you can use your values with behavioral activation to seek a greater degree of balance between your values. The homework assignments for this module is to find your values and suitable activities based on them. You can do this by either the mobile application or with the worksheet. It's important to keep an open mind in this process in order to explore different values. You can update the list as time goes by. The topic of the next module is avoidance, and you can start it when it suits you. If you haven't gotten around to it, then we really recommend that you start behavioral activation. See you later.